This is Anne from focusedandonfire.com. In these daily deposits, I'm talking about being more visible in your career, setting goals and making them happen, and getting things done without working harder, putting more pressure on yourself, or sleeping less. You ready? Today I want to talk about sneaky procrastination. And I call it sneaky procrastination because in this case, our brain is throwing problems at us and is telling us that we need to have those problems solved before we can move on to the task that we wanted to get done. And the three things that our brain is throwing at us are confusion, overthinking, and overplanning. And our brain is telling us that we need to have the perfect planning and that we need to have thought things through and that we need to have answers to every possible question before we can move on. And what I'm going to be doing in this video today and in the next two videos, I'm going to be showing you that working on these problems is costing us so much time and energy that we are not spending on the things that really matter and really need to get done. And I'm going to be showing you that the problems that the brain is throwing at us are not even problems that need to be solved in the first place. I'm going to be giving you a tool for each of these three problems that is going to help you cut through the problem that is not even a problem in the first place. So, in the next two videos, I'll be talking about overthinking and overplanning, and in today's video, I will be talking about confusion. And so I've made this scheme and I'm going to be walking you through the scheme and I'm going to be showing you that confusion is a problem that feels very real and that we really want to work through, but that is just a distraction, a way of procrastinating, and that it is not even a problem that needs to be solved in the first place. And I'm also going to be giving you a tool that will help you cut through that confusion in a very elegant and smooth way. And it's going to be so much more efficient and effective. All right, so as always, it starts with the task. And the task that you plan to do, you need to get done, you want to get done, but also the task that you dread doing. And so in that moment, the brain has got two choices. Either the brain works through that dread, gets into action, gets the thing done, gets the task done, and is following through, is doing as planned. Or the other option is that the brain is going into procrastination. It doesn't want to face a dread, it wants to escape from the dread, and is going into procrastination in the search for that sense of safety, that sense of relief, that sense of pleasure. Anything is better than having to face the dread of that dreaded task. And the brain is going to look for all the things that it can keep us occupied with that feel more pleasurable and that create that sense of safety and create that sense of relief. And so in this case, the thing that the brain has found is confusion. And what does confusion look like? It is this bunch of questions. And it's lots of questions that we need to find an answer to. And the brain is telling us you need to find an answer, but also you need to find the perfect answer to all the questions. And that might seem like a small detail that the brain is requiring us to find the perfect answer, the right answer to all the questions, but it is something that makes a big difference. Because the brain wants us to find the right answer, and that is what is keeping us busy, and that is what is having us doubt the answers that we come up with, because what if it isn't right? Well, the other option would be better, and that is what keeps that confusion cycle going. And what I want to tell you is that desire or that need or that belief that we need to find the perfect answer to all the questions is just one big fat lie that the brain is coming up with, and that the brain is coming up with to keep us busy with confusion, because as long as we are busy with the confusion, we are not engaging with the task at hand and we don't have to face the dread of that task. And so it is as if the brain is throwing this big hurdle in between us and the task. So we are here thinking about the task and wanting to do the task, but the task is over there, and in between, boom, all of a sudden, the brain has thrown that wall of confusion. And it is telling us, yeah, well, when you want to do that task, you need to work through that wall of confusion. And so what that wall of confusion does for us, it keeps us safe from doing that dreaded task. It keeps a distance between us and the dreaded task, and that feels pleasurable in that moment. But then, of course, what is happening when we set out to answer the questions and then keep doubting the answers that we come up with because it might not be the right or the perfect answer, then we keep stuck in that wall of confusion. And instead of moving forward, we keep stuck here in the wall, asking us the same questions over and over again. And what is happening, instead of being this pleasurable experience, we are creating a lot of losses for ourselves. Because what is happening, we spend a lot of time over here answering questions, doubting ourselves, answering our questions again. And so we waste a lot of time. And tasks that need to get done do not get done because we're not moving forward. We are trying to answer questions and never finding the right answer. And so we waste time, tasks are piling up, and then we go into overwhelm because all of a sudden there is so much things to do. Like we have all these questions that we need to answer, but then all of a sudden there's all these tasks that we need to do as well that didn't get done and that aren't getting done, and it's getting too much. And so we go into overwhelm. And as we know, when we feel overwhelmed, we feel even more a desire to procrastinate and not do the work that we know we need to do. But not only that, when the work is piling up and we are wasting time on solving non-problems like confusion, we are also creating additional work, because as the work is piling up, people will start sending emails or making phone calls to check what the status is on the things that we promised to get done, like are we making progress? Are we going to meet a deadline? How about this thing? They haven't seen that email yet. Are we still working on that thing? And so we'll be getting lots of requests that we need to answer that if we had done things as planned, we wouldn't have been getting. Also, we might need to reschedule deadlines, reschedule meetings, and have conversations about that, and do the work that comes with like managing the deadlines and reshuffling meetings. So it is creating additional work for ourselves, feeding even more into that overwhelm, but also feeding into being mad at ourselves. When we see that the tasks are piling up, and when we see that things aren't getting done, and we see that people are starting inquiring like how are things going, and when we see that we need to start shifting deadlines or maybe missing deadlines or working late at night and having to work in a rush all the time, we are getting mad at ourselves. And we're getting mad at ourselves for not being on top of things, and for letting things spin out of control, and for not being more on top of things, and for having not enough of a backbone to just get things done as planned. And so when we are mad at ourselves and when we feel overwhelmed, the desire to procrastinate becomes even bigger. And so this is this big loss that we are creating for ourselves as we are trying to solve that non-existing problem of confusion. It pretends to be important and it pretends to be existing, but actually it is not important and it is not existing at all. It's not a problem at all. And so in order to understand that, we are gonna dive into what is confusion actually. Confusion is asking yourselves lots of questions and then expecting yourself to find the right and perfect answer. And the question sounds something like this: should I do X or should I do Y? And what about this? Or maybe should I go for that approach? I could contact that person, or maybe know that other person, but then they might get mad that the other person hasn't been contacted yet. And what if this thing happens? And what about that thing that could go wrong? Or maybe I should try this, or maybe I should try the exact opposite of that. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. I am so confused. I've got so many ideas and things going through my brain. I'm not sure. And when we have all these things going on, we answer those questions, but also then we doubt those questions because it might not be the right answer. But the truth is, we have no way of finding the right answer to all of these questions. We have no way of finding the right answer to any of these questions because these questions are asking about things that haven't happened yet. And it is requiring us to look into the future and see like, hey, what has happened in the future? And then take that information and use then that as an answer. Like, I can take this approach or I can take that approach, but I have no way of knowing what is the right approach. I could contact that person, but then he might be happy or he might be mad that he got contacted. No way of knowing that. The only way I can answer those questions is when I get into action and I start doing things. And then I'm open and listening to the feedback that I'm getting, the information that I'm gathering. And then I can use that information, that brand new information that is actually real life feedback. I can use that, evaluate what is going on, and then based on that information, adjust and decide on the next step. And then I take that next step and I do something, and then I gather feedback. I get real life feedback. I gather information. I use that to inform the next step, and then I move on. And so instead of wanting the perfect answer to all of these questions, that is a false problem that the brain presents us with. Instead of finding the answers to the perfect answers, the right answer to all these questions, it's not about finding the answer to questions, it's about getting into action, making a get started choice, making a choice for now, coming up with an answer for now, coming up with a get started answer, and then going out and do something. And then gather that feedback, evaluate, adjust, decide on the next step, the next choice, take the action, gather the feedback, evaluate, adjust, action, and so on. And it is basically by iterating that you will gather the information and that you will gather the clarity and that things will become clear. Things become clear by doing, not by asking yourself questions about what it could be over and over again. Because we have no way of knowing what is going to happen in the future and knowing what the right answer is going to be. So what I want you to take away from this video is that the brain is throwing the problem of confusion at us in order to keep us safe and at a distance from the dreaded task that we plan to do. But instead of working through that confusion, we get stuck into that confusion. We get stuck in that confusion by asking ourselves lots of questions and then doubting the answers that we come up with and then asking ourselves the same questions over and over again. And that is because we want to find the perfect answer. But instead of trying to solve that problem, we can just put that problem aside and really focus on the choice that we can make right now with the information that we have right now and make this get started choice, make this choice for now, get out, get into action, and then from that action, gather information for the next step that you need to take. Because clarity doesn't come from answering questions and then doubting yourself and looking for the right answer. Clarity comes from doing, evaluating, and adjusting. And doing that in an iteration over and over again. And so the problem of confusion is this not important problem, is this thing that is not a problem in the first place that our brain is throwing at us to keep us safe and to keep us away from that dreaded task. But what it does instead, it is creating way more problems for ourselves, and it is not even a problem that we need to solve. So instead of trying to answer all the questions, just pick one answer and run with it. Go do it, gather the feedback, evaluate, adjust, decide on the next step, go do it. That is the way that you make progress and you keep making progress and you work in the most effective and efficient way. All right, I hope this was helpful. See you in the next video. This was today's daily deposit. And now it's your turn. Imagine jumping out of bed in the morning, excited to get to work. Instead of feeling unfulfilled, trapped, and snowed under by endless to-dos, hard work, and other people's expectations. You want to lead and make a difference. It's time for you to let all that potential out, one tiny daily deposit at a time. Are you ready? Well, I got something for you. Are you finding yourself procrastinating despite your drive and commitment to do great work? Well, let me tell you, you don't need more willpower, discipline, or a better planner to get things done. Because those are not the reason why you find yourself procrastinating in the first place. Learn why you are procrastinating at focusandonfire.com/daily deposit. And learn how to stop procrastinating and get really great at doing exactly what you said you were gonna do. And that's how you become unstoppable.